Good evening, everyone. So see the question which we have left yesterday. See this question. Explain the rationale behind the Goods and Services Tax Compensation to States Act. So explain the rationale behind the GST Act of 2017. How has COVID-19 impacted the GST compensation and created new federal tensions? So multiple dimensions. First is the rationale behind GST. Then how COVID has impacted GST. And finally, how it has created new federal tensions. And then introduction and then conclusion. So just take a couple of minutes before we discuss the framework and the model answer. Yeah, anyone? Yeah. Yeah, very good points, Rajini. And good points, Shanta Prasad. What do you mean by suitable conclusions, Shanta Prasad?
Sir, like cooperative federalism, they have to come for amicable solution to compensate these losses.
So why are you unable to write that? Suitable conclusion means what? What is that? I did not understand.
Sir, I'm afraid of maybe you'll not see my chat box and you'll directly go to the answer.
Why? Am I doing that? I'm seeing the chat boxes, right?
Yes, sir. I thought you'll start explaining. That's why I just put this.
Fine. See the question. The question is asking you. I already told you in mains examination, the thumb rule is you have to read the question multiple number of times. Rationale behind GST Act of 2017. That is the first part of the question. Impact of COVID-19 on GST compensation. And then finally on new tensions. So the question says, and created new federal tensions. So what is the rationale? So introduction you can give. So the GST Act of 2017 was a game changer in the Indian indirect taxation system because it brought many central cum state taxes under one umbrella. Clear? So coming to the body part, what is the rationale behind GST? Rationale behind GST 2017. Why rationale is to simplify? The main rationale is to simplify indirect taxation system. To simplify the indirect taxation. So that is the first thing. And what is the next rationale? To have uniform benefits across the states okay, and then but the other things is GST Act 2017 promised certain compensation for states which were losing significant amount of uh, tax. Example, manufacturing states like Tamil Nadu, Maharashtra, they were all promised compensation up to 2022. That is 5 years from 2017. Okay, because they were losing out on significant amount of tax, because GST is basically destination based or consumption based tax, and hence for manufacturing industries there was a provision to compensate them for 5 years. And then the next part of the question is, what is the impact of COVID-19 on GST compensation? So the average monthly GST revenue was around 1 to 1.2 lakh crores. This is before GST, before COVID. But after COVID, because during COVID and after COVID, due to lockdowns and impact of second wave, lot of industries closed down, and this impacted GST revenue collections. And in this situation, so the revenue of central government came down, so hence they could not compensate states, and sometimes there were inordinate delays in states being compensated. Inordinate delays. Okay, so this created federal tensions. So what is the last part of the question? How this created federal tensions? So how it created federal tensions? These are the issues which created federal tensions, because there was center versus state tussle was going on. There was a kind of deficit in trust within the GST Council, which is a statutory body. In fact, which is a constitutional, statutory body. Okay. So all these issues were there. So then what are the solutions? Though the question is not asking about solutions, you need to write about solutions. That center should immediately release GST compensation, because states are also equally impacted by COVID. And then the recent initiative of center to help states borrow for the GST loss is a good initiative. The compensation should go beyond 2022 as COVID years should not be considered. Okay. So all these are important solutions, and then conclusion can be GST is a prominent taxation system which will help in reducing the complicated and complex indirect taxation. The way forward is to have center and state synergy. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yesterday, Sushmita's I have done. Then, whose answers I have done? Raghurams I have done. I think I have done Raghurams. Anil. Yes, annual growth of 14% is considered. Yes, compensation to manufacturing states. Other points as discussed, you write. What are the other points?
Okay, sir.
What is this gap in financing vaccines? How is that related to GST? These points are not relevant. Okay, just see the point we have mentioned, Anil. Okay. Yeah, uncertainty about
Sure, sir.
future backlogs for states. Okay, this is good. Revenue projection may not materialize. Revenue decline. Violation of constitutional mandate. Problems, solutions also you write. What should be solutions to reduce federal tensions? Because the examiner is saying it is creating federal tensions, right? What should be done to reduce these federal tensions? Okay. Conclusion is good. Clear, Anil?
Yes, sir.
So come to today's questions. I have asked Vijay to give only 3, but he has given 4. Let's see how many we can do. With regard to economy, I am clear we'll go because it's a subject which is good. At the same time, it has a lot of dimensions to it. So it is better, I may have certain dimensions, you may have certain dimensions. Through our discussions, our answers can be more holistic. Enumerate the indirect taxes which have been subsumed in GST in India. Also comment on revenue implications of GST introduced in India. since July 2017. I think it's a very similar question. You can see the importance of GST coming again and again in economy. Okay, within 2 years again the examiner have asked the GST question. Okay. 2000, the sixth question is no more relevant. Should we discuss this? What do people say? Sixth question is relevant or irrelevant as on date? It's a 2013 question. Okay, anyway, I'll just discuss it randomly.
Yes, sir. I don't think it's relevant because it is already here. We are debating the pros and cons. We are experiencing it already.
We are talking about streamlining GST, Article 279A. So we are in a very advanced state of refining GST. Now we are talking about reducing the number of slabs. Now we have 28, 18, 5 and 12. So 4 slabs should be coming down to some base rate of 12. So that is the kind of discussion happening on GST. Now no one is saying GST should go. In fact, now there is a debate on the composition of GST council. Why does the center have 2/3 rights? Why the states have 1/3 right? And to pass any decision, it should have minimum 3/4. So inevitably, without center's vote, nothing can pass. So is it the kind of federalism we wanted? So all these kind of debates are happening, but no one is saying no to GST. Anyway, I'll just say a few words about the sixth question. We are not going into detail about the sixth question. See the fifth question. Enumerate the indirect taxes which have been subsumed in GST. Also, this is a very novel question at that point of time. Now everyone knows what are the different indirect taxes. Also comment on the revenue implications of GST introduced in India. Today we are very clear about the revenue implications. We know the SGST, CGST, IGST, and how the sharing happens. Just now we have discussed about the GST compensation. All that will be your second half of the answer. Take just 2 minutes and we will discuss this question. Yeah, Rajni. Agreed. It is 1/3 for the center and 2/3 for the states, but the decision making is for 3/4. So unless you have the center vote, you cannot go forward on any decision. I just interchange them. So just it's a correction that 2/3 for states and 1/3 for the center. For decision making, it is 3/4. Okay. So what is the question like? Question is asking you, enumerate the indirect taxes. Enumerate the indirect taxes. Enumerate the indirect taxes. Indirect taxes which have been subsumed into GST of 2017. This is the first part of the question. Second part of the question is comment on the revenue implications. What are the revenue implications? So how the obviously you have to introduce as GST how it was introduced through the 101 amendment and which was coming with one tax, one nation slogan, and it has been a game changer and a defining moment in the area of indirect taxation. In the area of indirect taxation. So it is in the area of indirect taxation. And so what are the indirect taxes which are subsumed under GST? So for this, the better way of presenting is what are the central taxes which have been subsumed? What are the central taxes which are subsumed? So what are the various central taxes which are subsumed? Previously, VAT was there. The VAT has been subsumed into the GST, central excise duty, okay, and service tax has been subsumed into GST, and some additional duties and taxes have been subsumed. Similarly, what are the state taxes which are subsumed into GST? State taxes are again state VAT, sales tax, and then entertainment tax, and some state surcharges and cess by states. All these are subsumed into GST. So this is the first part of the question. So what are the revenue implications? What are the revenue implications? So obviously revenue implications like improved revenue due to last mile tracking, increased transparency, more revenue due to e-way bill system. E-way bill system. Okay. And then better sharing of indirect taxation. Indirect taxation. Between center and states. Okay, and then though it is not related to revenue implications, you can say that reduced complexity of taxes. Reduced complexity of taxes. Okay, but then you just give some drawbacks of GST. What are the drawbacks of GST? Some GST is some states are losing out, like Tamil Nadu, Maharashtra. They are all manufacturing states, and then it's a destination based or consuming based tax. Hence, states which consume goods and services tend to have more share. Multiple slabs can confuse the common man and taxation agencies. Technical issues initially, and then conclusion you can write. GST was, it is asking you how it has been a success. You can say GST has been a much awaited reform in the indirect taxation, though initially it had some teething issues. The growing revenue collections indicate that GST is definitely on the path of success. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Sir, of course, it is not exactly relevant to the question, but recently Supreme Court gave a judgment that the recommendations of GST Council are not binding let's say on corporate ministry or finance ministry. So, because GST being a federal body and for the only voice for state governments to actually claim their revenue, or to agree or disagree, or to vote or not vote. So even if the states vote in their favor, in the favor of federal structure, I mean, more revenue flows to states. So given that the Supreme Court said it is not binding, so will it be a cause of concern? I mean, the central government may not honor the GST Council recommendation, citing the reason that it is not so binding, so we need not honor, and that will further dent the state's revenues. Is this a likely happening? Just I was thinking, sir.
First of all, I feel such a scenario may not arrive at all, because if you say even all the states may give a ruling that GST devolution should be more, revenue should be devoluted more, and all such things, but ultimately what is the power of decision making? 3/4. So ultimately, unless the center agrees, there cannot be any resolution of GST Council at all. So that is the main cause of concern for all these states now. Like non-central government, for states which are having central government and state government with the same party, they are not speaking out much. But for the states which are having different parties at the power in states, they are unable to have that kind of flexibility, because whatever they say, the 3/4 will never come. So that is where the federal tensions are now picking up in GST Council. Agreed?
Yes, sir. Okay, sir. Got it. Yeah.
So let's see. Anil, we have seen. Arvind. Tensions. Enumerate the indirect taxes. Yes. So you can give the central level and state level. This is important. Some more points you can mention, Arvind.
Yes, sir.
Partially successful, we are getting 1,40,000 crores per month. Be careful while using this word. It is definitely successful. We can make it much more successful. That should be the conclusion. Okay, GST
Okay,
is
sir.
not partially successful. India has never had 1.44 lakh crores of indirect taxes. GST is achieving record over record. You see that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, sixth question I'll discuss at the end for 2 minutes. See the seventh question. The public expenditure management is a challenge to the government of India in the context of budget making during post-liberalization period. Clarify it. Take a couple of minutes. Yeah. Okay, decent points, Mahesh, but you should focus. You need not write about pre-liberal budget and all. That is not required. Okay, the question is the public expenditure management is a challenge to the government of India in the context of budget making during the post-liberalization period. So you have to highlight the issues which are actually important during the post-liberalization period and how it has made the government's job difficult in setting a particular budget. So the moment you understand the core demand of the question, now they are saying that government is making a budget, but that budget implementation is very difficult in the context of post-liberalization scenario. Understood? Everyone understood the demand of the question?
Sir.
Economy, the importance is to understand the question. The public expenditure management, the PEM we popularly call it as, is a challenge to government of India in the context of budget making during post-liberalization period. Clarify it. So, the very process of public expenditure management in the context of budget. So in the budget, we definitely have certain public expenditure for various purposes, right? That itself is a challenge in the post-liberalization period. That means what are the factors impacting or which are concerned with PEMRD is the question.
Sir.
Sir, I just sent an answer. Will you please mind checking it once?
Yes. Okay, to certain extent, some reasons are good. But post-liberalization means not the immediate era of 1991 or 92. Even today, 2022 is also the post-liberalization era. Okay, look at the broader perspective. You are trying to give the points which are immediately after the liberalization. What are the issues government has faced in setting up the budget? But they are asking you in the present scenario, the question is coming in 2019 means they feel that still there are a lot of issues which are plaguing the PEM in the budget expenditure context. Understood, Sumant?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So you have to, yes, definitely, Raghuram, you can add 2008 recession, rise in the crude oil, the exchange rate issue, the external factors, why, and the COVID-19 itself is a very classic example, right? How the public expenditure management took a very big hit. So all these are the issues which you need to highlight, and you can bring in the subsidies. Okay, even today, there are many committees like the Bimal Jalan committee which has said that periodically the government should stop giving subsidies, but today because of the various, you can call it as post political era or whatever, because of the politics and whatever is the reason, the subsidies are continuing, the freebies are continuing. In fact, today I was reading an article in Hindu. I'm sure most of you must have read it. The article is about how the Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Yojana is being continued even after the COVID. Okay, where the author feels there is no necessity of this program at this point of time. So there are different perceptions, and but then government, wherever it has implemented this particular thing, seems like politically it has gained, especially in the northern states. And maybe that is the reason they are extending it up to December. That is the philosophy of the author. So there are certain freebies, there are certain issues, subsidy burden, the NPAs, the inflation, all these are the post liberalization issues which are making the public expenditure management a bit difficult. So the question is about PEM and how it is difficult in the budget context, especially in the post liberalization era. So that is why I am going slow on economy, because the problem with economy is the understanding of the question. Okay. And you see, of late, especially because economy falls into the paper 3, the importance for agricultural economy has increased, no doubt. Agricultural economy, you are getting at least 5 to 6 questions. Okay, and then you are having science and technology, environment and ecology. All these are the issues. All these are the issues which are majorly impacting the paper. Yeah. So there are many things, which are in the economy. The questions are generally, we think that we have written good answer, but sometimes in GS3 paper, people tend to get 66, 56, 75, while topper will be somewhere around 125 and so on. So why so much difference? And if you see, there is not so much difference across the marks in GS1 and 2. There is no difference in GS1 and GS2. Not, I mean to say, no major difference. For example, if someone is having 90 marks as a very good mark, topper will be at around 105. In GS2, if you are getting again 90 marks, topper will be around 100. But GS3, you may get 75, topper may even get 125. And same is the case with GS4. Topper will be at 150. You may either be at 130 or 110. So GS3 and GS4, if you see, there is a lot of variations in the marks because it is very, very current affairs oriented paper. GS3, when compared to 1 and 2, it is more of current affairs oriented, and GS4 is more about you. So it is more about you, is more about current affairs. So it calls for implementing all the knowledge which you have gained by reading 1.5 to 2 years. It basically tests your personality of 23, 24 years, which you have gained. So in both the papers, there is a high chance that you will be exposed. If you are shallow in knowledge, you will be exposed in GS3. And if you are not having proper inclination for civil services, you will be exposed in GS4. And hence, if you see, because this is my observation over last 7 to 8 years, you go and see the marks of all the toppers. They have made good marks here. Here, some people might have got less marks, but they still got here. And next is essay, and finally interview. So this, of course, optional has been a game changer for quite a long. But even people who are doing just above average, like 280s in optionals, who are doing decent in these 4 papers, are still able to get into top 100. So, this exam, while you prepare, you should also analyze what is happening in the examination. Okay, it is not like you prepare in the island mode, not knowing what is happening, what paper is fetching you more marks. All these, it all calls for smart work. Okay, so be smart while you prepare. Definitely work hard, but at the same time, work smart. Try to see the patterns, try to see the trends, try to see how examiner is asking how the case studies are changing in ethics, how the current affair orientation is increasing in GS papers, especially GS3, how the agricultural economy impact is increasing in GS3. Okay, so all these you have to keep tracking. Okay, just don't go that this topper told me this textbook is good. I keep on reading that Ramesh Chandra. I keep on reading Ramesh Chandra for economy. I'll see that, okay, vision notes I have seen. Now I'll see forum IAS notes. I'll see XYZ notes. No. Okay, I suddenly forgot the definition of inflation. So let me again read the entire chapter of inflation. It is not how you prepare. Change your style of preparation. You are, when we prepared, we did not have so many resources. But then you have many resources. That should not be a problem. That should be a benefit. That you choose wisely as to what resource you want to take and apply it for your preparation. Okay, your friend, you read a monthly magazine of XYZ institute, and then you read of next institute. You found that one article is not there in this magazine. Now you start reading all the magazines. So you are wasting time. I keep on telling everyone that this exam is not a board exam where you have to get 99.999 out of 100. The topper is around 51% out of 100. The toppers are 51, 52, 53%. If you want to just get a rank, you get around 46%. You are in top 200, top 300. That means it's not that the evaluation is stringent. The topper question or topper answer also is not complete. The UPSC is not saying, right, irrespective of how wonderful you write, I am going to award only 6 out of 15 marks. It is nowhere mentioned. So if even topper is getting 6 out of 15, that means his or her answer is not complete as per the expectation of UPSC. Try to understand that. In our so-called quest for perfection, which obviously will never come, you are losing out in the race. Of course, there are many issues, when people want to get motivated, they tend to see certain videos, and unfortunately, those videos are also misleading, because someone who got a rank, they keep on giving the resources, or now it has become a trend that every topper will start a Telegram channel and start posting his or her notes. So there will be 10 toppers in a year. Everyone has their Telegram channel. Everyone will start dumping their notes. So are you going to read everyone's notes? So when are you going to make your own notes? So be practical. Think about the ways how you can crack this examination. That is the need of the hour. Don't chase this so-called perfection, which will never come. Even if you give 6 attempts, you will still be imperfect. Even if you crack the exam in the first attempt, you will still be imperfect. Don't chase that perfection. That is the problem. Of course, I have deviated a little bit from the subject, but I hope I am trying to make clear as to what you guys need to do. Read only one material, which is your comfort zone. It may be any XYZ material. Try to revise it. Revise it 10 times, 15 times. First, have the proper base of your static content. Then build upon from the newspapers. Build upon from some good government websites or magazines. Make your own notes. Revise them. Retain them. And when you use those stats in your intro and conclusion, your answer will look much more garnished. So all this is an exercise which comes over a period of time. The problem is you guys don't want to do the basics right, but you want the result. It's a process. Please understand, it's a process. Unless the process is right, the result will never be favorable to you. You don't want to undergo that grind. You want to read the topper's notes and go and write a similar answer in mains examination. How is it possible? What worked out for Anudeep Durishetty, what worked out for Tina Dabi, what worked out for XYZ, some Kumar Gimar, it may not work out for you. It will never work out for you. Please come out of that mindset. Focus on what is the demand of the examination. I always keep telling all my students who ask me, first understand what is this examination about. The examination is about you. But in this process, we are doing everything apart from us. We are forgetting that this examination is about us. We are thinking this examination is about emulating someone else. No, this examination is not about emulating someone else. This examination is not about emulating someone else. I know I have deviated a little bit, but is it clear what I am trying to say? Is the message clear to everyone?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And it's most valuable for us, sir.
Fine. So coming back to this question. So the public expenditure management generally, so the introduction is like, it's basically public expenditure management is a way of, how the government uses its financial resources, okay, for welfare, governance of the public. This is nothing but PEM, public expenditure management. Okay, before 90, just give one line if you want to write about 1991 and before. Before 1991, the government was driving almost every aspect of the economy. But post 1991, it became a facilitator of various aspects in the economy. So what are the challenges? So the question is asking, what are the challenges in the context of budget making? Challenges in the context of budget making in post-liberalization era. So what are the main things? The burden of subsidy. Burden of subsidy is going to have an impact on public expenditure management. And then the fiscal deficit, the current account deficit, which means growing imports, reducing exports. Okay, the global oil shocks, recession, the COVID-19 pandemic, the elections across India, which may lead to populistic policies like the loan waivers, etc. Growing NPAs, volatility of inflation. So all these are issues which are impacting the public expenditure management. Do you agree or not?
Yes, sir.
And
Yes, sir.
the tax issues, for example, low tax to GDP ratio, which is low. Okay. And then So these are the issues. So you have pointed out many issues. Now, what are the solutions to this issue? For example, streamlining GST, direct taxation reforms, which are much needed. And then there is something called public fund management system. I hope you all know this. PFMS to be implemented to get accountability in government spending. Involving private players. Okay. Addressing NPS through bad banks, whatever it is. So reducing subsidy burden. And one more thing can be DBT. In the conclusion, you'll write that the need of the hour is that government should be only a facilitator in various aspects of governance. Its business is not to be in business. Also, freebies, subsidies should slowly reduce. The focus shall be on capital creation, which will propel the economy. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Is it clear, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Shanta Prasad. You have written this answer, Shanta Prasad?
No, sir.
No. Sushmita is yesterday we have seen, Raghuram we have seen, Arvind. Okay, we'll see Sushmita if she has written. Sushmita, she has not written. Who has written? Raghu, you have written?
Written, sir.
Good. Definition is good. Yes. Global economic shock, subsidy burden, fiscal policy, banking NPA crisis, populist schemes. Good. Good answer. Yes. FRBM Act. Yeah, I forgot this point. FRBM Act. Implementation of FRBM. Fiscal Federation. Yeah. Creation of monetary policy. Good points. Yes. PFMS. PPP. Yeah. Bimal Jalan Committee. Good mention. Okay. So next class we'll start with the 8th question. I'll ask Vijay to add the 8th question and then give. Mostly it will be on Monday or Tuesday. Whatever it is, it will be informed in the group. So just 6th question, discuss the rationale for introducing GST in India. Bring out critically the reasons for delay. Reasons for delay is, rationale for introducing, we all know, to simplify and to modify the complicated indirect taxation system. What were the reasons for delay? Anyone? What were the reasons for delay of GST?
Lack of consensus, and it needed a strong government at the center, but it was a coalition since since the liberalization.
Lack of political consensus is one thing. You call it coalition governments or whatever it is. Next is reconciling lot of data. Okay, reconciling lot of data, understanding its impact, coming with regard to what are the probable slabs you want to introduce. Okay, and federalism issues, states have to take it on board, right? It is not only about the central government, states government should come on board because it's a constitutional amendment which is having impact on the federalism. So what is the principle for amendment? Apart from constitution being 2/3 majority, 50% of the states should agree. Yes, that is the amendment required for GST. Yes or no?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So all those are the issues you have to mention, and then you can, because it is 2013, it was not implemented, you can conclude saying that the indirect taxation system of India is highly complicated and complex in nature. In this process, because of lack of transparency, the government of India is losing a lot of revenue. The need of the hour is to streamline and simplify the indirect taxation and bring in the much awaited GST. Clear?
Yes, sir.
So in the next class, we'll start with the 8th question. I'll inform Vijay to start with the 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay. So we'll again meet in the next week. Okay. Please take the message positively. Okay. It is not against anyone. Okay. So it is not directed to anyone. It is not related to any one of you also. Okay. But the focus and intensity should remain. That is, these are the only two things which can take you through this examination. Okay, there will be a lot of things which you guys will feel confused about. Okay, which you guys will be tempted to take up, like, what is topper XYZ saying. Okay, even what I am saying also need not be a binding or Bible kind of thing on you guys. Okay, so whatever I am saying is something which I have seen in the recent past and I have experienced. So I'm just sharing those things. So you guys are very much, I am at least open to you guys rejecting my ideas. Okay. So absolutely fine, because I'm not someone, someone who has been with me for last 1 year, like Sumant and all, they know me very well, that I am not someone who's going to preach each and everything, because I feel that this examination is something which everyone has to experience in their own way. Like we being, myself, Kalyan, or whoever is associated with this institute, we are only facilitators. Okay, we are only facilitators. And this, they say, right, when we do intermediate, during, some of you must have studied, like, MSET, IIT, they say it is 75% student and 25% faculty. When it comes to civil services, it is 95% student and only 5% faculty. Any faculty can only take you to the verge of the examination, but it is your focus, it is your knowledge, and it is your aptitude which is going to make you clear the examination. Okay. Rajni, your question is relevant compared to geography. Economy is very much data-centric paper. So how to go with the answers with so much data, since it is difficult to remember so much data? Not exactly difficult, Rajni, because the problem is that's what I'm telling you. The problem is we are focusing on every single data which is available in the market. So we want to give our introduction right from Niti Aayog report to every single agency report. Not necessary. As far as I am concerned, if I am talking about poverty, I need to have a proper, any one report on India's poverty. If I'm talking about unemployment, I need to have any one index like CDS of what is the India's unemployment? Around 6.67%. It has increased to around 11-12% during COVID. What is poverty? Poverty as per Tendulkar line is 21%. But now as per the reports after COVID, it must have gone up to 30%. Informal economy, 85%. So these are all something which as I read, I come to know. And then today we are a 1% economy. What is that 1% economy? As the Oxfam report says, 1% of India's population is controlling 70% of the India's economy or GDP. So these are some things you need to have as a pointers, because, remembering facts is not everyone's cup of tea, but at the same time, bare minimum facts you have to remember that comes only with revision. So if you read different magazines on poverty, you will be confused that there are so many facts and you will be demotivated. That's what I'm saying. Read only one source for poverty. The examiner is not asking you to quote what the UNDP is saying, what is the multi-dimensional index, what is the Niti Aayog report. They are not expecting you to, the moment poverty question is coming, they are not expecting you to give 3 or 4 different rankings of India. Not like that. Okay. But anyhow, you are preparing for prelims. During your preparation for prelims, you are definitely trying to remember few positions of India. What is the Human Development Index of India? What is the malnutrition status of India? What is the transparency record of India? What is the women empowerment status of India? All these you are trying to somehow try to remember, right? The same thing you try to reproduce in your mains answers. Okay, so that is the best way. And how to remember facts is only through revision. And don't make a conscious effort to read the facts. Okay, I should remember that India is 134 out of 150. Not like that. Just try to randomly skim through the content. Then when you do that 2 or 3 times, without your notice only, you'll remember it. The more you focus on the fact, the content and the essence of the actual topic you'll lose in the quest for remembering the fact. The same thing applies for other subjects like history also. Okay, every subject, that's what I'm saying, right? You try to enjoy your preparation. This is a phase, you are lucky. Most of you guys are lucky that you are able to prepare for civil services itself is the luckiest thing. There are hundreds of people who are not even having resources like you, but struggling to just write the exam. You are comfortable, you are writing, you are, at least I hope most of you do not have immediate pressure on from your parents that get married or get settled. At least they have given you a couple of years to experiment with this exam. So enjoy this process. You are doing something which is enriching your personality. So when you have all these thoughts in your mind, the process, the journey becomes very enjoyable. And then you don't think about the destination, right? When the moment you think about destination, I want to be a Tina Dabi, I want to be another Dirsetti, it doesn't happen like that. Okay, becoming ranker 1 or fetching a UPSC rank is the ultimate outcome. But what you are doing for getting that outcome is more important. And the moment you forget that my outcome is not that, I want to improve as a person and I want to enjoy this enriching experience, and yes, let that exam come and then I'm going to clear it. You go with that approach, you will get a rank. You don't say that, yeah, I'll get in top 50. I have to get top. No, you said, yes, I'll crack UPSC. Let's see. And I'll enjoy in this process. Then your complete perception towards this examination will change, because you will experience lesser pressure on yourself. You will not push yourself. Even though you are pushing yourself, you will not feel the pressure because you are enjoying that stretching also. For example, if you are reading 12 hours a day, you will not know that you have read 12 hours, because you will not actually count the number of hours you are reading. But in this process, for example, if you are desperate about something, you will start counting, okay, half an hour I have read, 1 hour I have read. So that the moment you can read 12 hours, you can even see that you have read 12 hours, but then you should not actually concentrate that, okay, I'm reading 1 hour, 2 hours. The 12 hours should happen naturally. That is what I'm trying to say. The 12 hours should happen as a process of your preparation. Anyhow, okay? Is it okay? Fine,
Yes,
we'll
sir.
meet next week.